Okay, this word problem says that Andy is twice as old as Kate. In 6 years, their ages will total 60. And we want to know how old each is. Another way to say that is how old is Andy and how old is Kate. So when we do that, we want to actually have a letter or a variable for Andy and another variable for Kate. So let me just highlight those here. So for Andy's age, we'll use A, and for Kate's age, we'll use K. A different color here. Okay. And now we have to write two equations. One of the equations, you don't have to use any colors like I am here, but I'm going to use green. Yes, can you guys, you cannot see it? Oh, I'm sorry. Um, you don't see the whiteboard. What do you guys see? Iceline, can you tell me what you see on the screen? You don't. What do you see, Iceline? With Oh, okay, with the yellow and the blue and the word problem. Okay, all right. I'm going to record it anyway, so I mean I am recording it, so we'll go back. We'll be able to go back and play it again. Saudi, was that you that said you couldn't see it? Okay, all right. Anyway, then we're going to write two equations, and you don't have to use these colors if you don't want, but I'm going to use green. I'm going to use green for the first equation. I'm going to write an equation that says Andy is twice as old as Kate. And for Andy, I'm going to use A. I'm going to use equals. Twice as old as Kate, I'm going to write 2K. I want you to write that equation also. Let me know when you've written it, and I'll pause for just a moment recording again. All right, so that will be, I'll just call it the green equation. Now we're going to write another equation. I'll use a different color, maybe pink or something like that. And that will be this part right here. This sentence, I'll change it to an equation. That equation says that in 6 years, their ages will add up to 60. Well, Andy's age in 6 years will be A plus 6. And we're going to add to that Katie's age in 6 years will be K plus 6. And it says here that they add up to 60. So I'm just going to call that the pink equation. Okay, I highlighted it with pink. I'll surround it with pink also. So we have two equations. All right, when you've written that down, go ahead and let me know, and we'll continue. So we have these two equations, and what we're going to do is replace or substitute in this equation. In the first equation, this says I know it says equals, but it means it's the same thing as 2K. A is the same thing as 2K. A is equal to 2K. That means that whenever we see the letter A, we could replace it with 2K. Let me erase those circles for a minute because I do see the letter A right here. And so I'm going to do what I just said a second ago. I'm going to replace that A with 2K. But I'm going to write the rest of the equation first. I'm going to write the plus 6. I'm going to write the rest of it, the K plus 6, and the equals 60. And in a second here, I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to replace A with 2K. So instead of writing A in the front there, I'm going to put 2K there. So I want you all, that's not very neat. I want you all to write this equation that I just wrote down, please. Okay, so that equation, like I said, it might look a little bit longer because instead of a, it has 2K. But it's actually easier because it only has one letter. That one letter that it has is the letter K. It has K here and another 2K here. So what do we get if we add 2K plus K? Isn't that 3K? Okay. Also, we have positive 6 and positive 6. Isn't that 12? Good. And and that's equals 60. Again, we have an equation now that's easier than everything we had before because we only have one letter. Make sure you write that equation down. I'll continue when everybody's ready. So if you wrote that equation, I'm just going to make a little bit more room here. We can solve for k. They added 12. We want to do the inverse of that. We want to subtract 12 from both sides. Subtract 12 from the left and subtract 12 from the right. When we do that, these will simplify, and we'll be left with 3k is equal to 60 minus 12 is 48. Darn it. Is 48. There we go. Okay. And maybe save a little bit more room if I could slide it up just a bit more. So the only thing we need to do now to get k is to divide both sides by 3. And 48 divided by 3 is 16. And that's part of what we wanted to find. Let me just highlight it with blue over there. I think blue is what we used. So Katie is 16. Remember we said that Katie's age was going to be the letter K? So we can use either one of those. And if we choose to use that green box, because it's a little bit easier, let me just write down what that green box says. Same thing without all the colors. A equals 2 times K. Can I put the K in parentheses? There we go. And now I have a question. And I'm going to pause for just a second. Yeah, since we have this equation now, and we have a K, and we already saw down here that K was 16, we can replace that K. I'm going to say erase and replace. I'm going to erase the K, and I'm going to put the number 16 instead. So then our answer for A will be equal to 2 times 16, which is 32. And that's the other answer that we wanted. Doesn't really matter which one we write first, but that's in the yellow part, the yellow highlight there. So and that represents Andy's age. So Andy's age is 32, and Kate's age is 16.